All right, guys, so clay time, super exciting. You're gonna get a chunk about this big, and then on each table you have some toothpicks to share, and I'll show you what those are for a little bit later. So today we're gonna learn how to make three forms: sphere, coil, and slab. And with those three things, you can make anything imaginable pretty much. I am gonna make a turtle. However, you can use these same techniques and make something different if you'd like. All right, so to begin with, a sphere. Now you don't want to make it with your whole chunk of clay because we're going to be making slab and coil later. So I'm only going to pinch off a little bit. I take this little chunk and it doesn't look very round yet. It's kind of lumpy. I roll it in my hands. I can roll it in my hands, but I could also roll it on the table if that's a little bit easier for you guys. And now I press and mold it to kind of perfect it into that sphere shape. Super easy. That, I think, might become some legs a little later on. So I'm gonna put it to the side. Now, I'm gonna make a coil. So a coil is a long, skinny, snake-like kind of clay form. So I'm gonna take off a little bit bigger of a chunk. Depends on what you're making, how big you'll need your coil. And I roll it in my hands to begin with. Now, once I have it started, I might want to move my mat to the side because it slips a little bit when I'm rolling. I roll it on the table. I keep rolling it with the goal being that I don't have super skinny spots and super fat spots. So here's a pretty good coil. Here's what I don't want to see. If you just keep rolling in one spot, it's gonna get kind of lumpy like this. So you wanna make sure, whoops, it might even fall apart. You wanna make sure that you move your hands across the whole thing so that it's not getting super skinny in just one spot. It's staying nice and even all the way through. Now, I'm gonna set that to the side. It might become something a little bit later on. And I'm gonna show you the final one, slab. So I'm gonna move my mat over here because if I don't, it might stick to the table, which could make it pretty difficult. And I'm just gonna use my hand to flatten out the clay. My goal with a slab is to make a nice, thin piece of clay that I can cut shapes out of. So I'm just gonna cut a really simple shape with my toothpick, a rectangle. Nice. Now, what I want you to do after you practice making these forms like I have, I want you to exercise the creative part of your brain and see if you can come up with something to make with these forms. I'm gonna stop the camera and I'm gonna show you how to make a turtle. You can try that out if you want, or you can come up with something different. All right, so let me show you the pieces that I made and how I'm gonna put them together to make an actual turtle. So this is a coil I made, and I left it kind of thick. It's gonna become, believe it or not, the turtle head. These are 4 little spheres. They're gonna be those cute little turtle feet. This is a slab that I cut into a circle shape, and this, my friends, is gonna be his shell. Finally, I wanted to add some decoration, so I made a coil to go on top of his shell to make his shell look super pretty. All right, so it would be awesome if I could just stick this guy together. But I can't do that with clay. If I just try to put my feet on the bottom of the shell like this, those feet are gonna fall off super easy. I have to do something called slip and score. Basically, I rough up the clay with my toothpick. See how rough that looks? If I rub my finger over it, it's not smooth anymore. I also am gonna rough up the clay wherever I'm attaching it. See how that looks really rough? Then I'm gonna add a little bit of water. So with my water, I have to be very careful that I don't use too much, and I forgot it, so hold on. I barely want to rub that water on the clay. And I just use the tip of my fingers to do that. Now that I have water and the clay is roughed up, I can take those two pieces together and they're gonna stick a lot better. I can even smooth it out, and that's really gonna make it stick. So there's the beginning of my turtle, and you'll see what it looks like when it's done. All right, so here's my little turtle. He has 4 feet. He has a neck and a head. He even has a pretty decoration on his shell and a little tiny tail. I had to slip and score all these pieces together. Otherwise, when I would tap it like this, it would be falling off. So make sure you do that. Slip and score too. Have fun.